Well, for today, there's a push for a full-scale forensic and pathological probe into circumstances leading to the death of a 32-year-old Shadrach Arloo. The police say his airway was blocked with a post-mortem examination revealing 8 bags of cannabis were retrieved from his throat. Family of the deceased say this is an attempt to actually divert attention from the fact that Shadrach was brutalized by the police, causing his death. For today, we analyze all of the accounts that we're hearing, especially as the family is disputing the accounts from the Ghana Police Service. But first, we'll be speaking to a criminologist who will give us a better understanding to how things are unfolding. But I want you to take a listen to this interaction between my colleague Joseph Akable and sister of the deceased, Perpetual Didier, who explains why the family is not accepting the position of the Ghana Police Service.
First of all, they mentioned my name, that they have called me to integrate with me about the investigation, which is never true. The police has not called me anywhere to ask me any questions, to tell my side of the story, to help them to do investigation. It is out. And the date they gave us was yesterday. Before yesterday, it was 14th, and they changed the date. So when we went to the morgue, together with 2 MPs, Jomolo and Elembele, our mother, Dorcas Afo-Tofi, and our father, Honorable Kofi Amabwa. We went there, they wanted to start the autopsy, and I told them that no, for us to get real evidence of everything, for us to understand, we need a medical doctor. So they should ask the police to give us a chance to find a medical doctor, which of course we got one. But that my doctor too is out of Accra. So he gave us his colleague. The colleague begged us to tell the police to allow him to come today, which is Wednesday. So the police, instead of them to understand, because I told one of my sisters, yesterday I was not around. I took the children that was supposed to travel with my brother, which is gone. I took them to the embassy yesterday for medical tests. So I was not around, and my sister called me, one of the relatives called me that the police still want to do the test without our doctor around. Then I said, no, I will never, because my name is involved. My name is headlining all the stories out there and all that. So I want to see to it that I am okay with everything that will happen. So you, as a family member, me, I'm standing in for my sister in Germany and the whole family. So you are representing me, Shadrach family, everybody there. So please tell them to hold on. Let our doctor come. They should give us one more chance today, so that we will see that justice will truly prevail. And my sister said, okay, she will do. So I was there, surprisingly. Shadrach's father called me that that relative called her to call him to convince him that whether our doctor is there or not, they can still go through the post-mortem. I said, no, it is never done anywhere. We are the family, and we need to be satisfied with everything that will go on the body. Our lawyer is there. Okay, some of the family members are there, but they are not medically inclined that they can understand everything that will go on there. So please, they should stop. I said they have already done it. I said, so I drove from the embassy. I left the children there, and I drove to the policeman. When I got there, they have already finished.
Okay, so you are saying that the police statement says the family agreed for the autopsy to be done by their health official. You are saying that the family did not agree for that to be done.
They convinced my family to understand.
So some of them agreed eventually.
Yeah. I was not around. According to that, my sister, she said the doctor said he will not be around today. He's traveling, and I told her that he is not the only police doctor that can operate on my brother. So if he is traveling, let him go. For the sake of justice, let him go. Then they should find another doctor that will collaborate with our own doctor. What is the crime in this one? What is the rush for? So therefore, they eventually did the autopsy. So, my question is, if they are saying that they have done all investigations and whatever, he swallowed weed in which is wrapped in rubber, then they found 8 folded wheat inside. Maybe Sagana for say weed in Nkrumah. Weed obi to me many weed rubber in Nkrumah to me many easy sir. The time that he was swallowing it, have they given us a footage of that time he was trying swallowing the weed, and he didn't struggle. He swallowed the weed easily like that. So my stand is, because they didn't wait for our doctor to come inside the operation, I will not accept it. My family too, they are saying they will not accept whatever they brought out.
So as far as you are concerned, what's your suspicion in terms of what was found by way of the autopsy report?
So my suspicion is already we have footage of the action, how the brutalization was going on, how they were handcuffing him, beating him, stepping on his back, holding his legs, touching him with a teaser. All these things, we have it in footage. But the police did not include it in their statement. That means they have sweep away everything apart from what they are saying, indicating that it is only the weed that causes death. Do you understand my case?
Yeah, I get you. So specifically, you think that because they ignored the other issues about how he was beaten, you don't believe that they found weed?
It could be that when they took his body to the morgue, police morgue, somebody planted the weed inside his throat so that when our lawyer will be standing there, he will see that, oh, I've seen weed.
I mean, that's quite a serious allegation.
Yes, I'm saying it. So they should provide how he was swallowing it, because the whole for justice to prevail, the whole more they have CCTV camera everywhere, and they are saying they captured all the action. So they should provide why the guy was able to swallow that substance without struggling, without choking, without vomiting. He swallowed it easily like that. And according to the report, they said after he swallowed, then he fainted, then he died. That means there was no any brutalized, or there was no any beating or handcuffing or struggling or that teaser they used to shock him. So the police will answer us in court.
So specifically, is it your request that a fresh autopsy should be done by an independent doctor, perhaps? Is that what you're asking for?
They have to do it. Even right now, as I'm saying, even if they have cleaned all the evidences, how can I tell? So if you are saying that is the only thing that killed him, then you are going to provide the footage. Then you are going to answer how come you didn't find any evidence of how they tortured him, how they brutalized him, and all that thing. You didn't see anything apart from that weed. So you show us the reason why you didn't see all these traces, but we saw it in the video. Okay, so now, are you covering up for somebody?
So for now, finally, what's the next line of action for the family?
We are taking them to court, and they will hear from us, because we are not buying this. We indicated that they should allow us bring our own doctor. And they said the doctor that the police doctor is going to do the autopsy is traveling, so they don't have patience for us to bring a doctor. Even that day, yesterday, the time they gave us was too early. Early in the morning, 6 o'clock. It can be that our doctor was stuck in traffic. What is the rush for? What do you want to cover? Like, who are you covering up for? So we are still demanding justice. They can't tell us that what they have brought out is the real fact of the issue. So everybody should forget the evidences we have seen on social media and all that.
Well, more reaction is beginning to greet this. MP for Jomoro, Dorcas Afotoffe, debunks the police assertion that the family agreed to allow the police pathologist to do the autopsy alone, which the family is also refusing.
It's just too many inconsistencies in their statement. First of all, I'm looking at the statement, the one that was released yesterday, on the first page, number 7. It says that at the meeting, the parties were given the option to have the post-mortem examination conducted by pathologists of their choice. Yeah. First of all, that is not true. We were not given that option. It was the families that spoke to us that they would not be comfortable to allow the pathologists from the hospital, the police department to do the full examination. So if it would be okay, they would ask that we can add their own private doctor. So we discussed it with the pathologist of the police service, and he agreed. But at nowhere, I mean, there was nothing that we had the full option to take the body to a private examiner to do the autopsy. That would have been the best. Anyway, in any case, who watches the watchman? The person that got killed and the police people are alleged that they were part of the whole process. Yeah, they are the one doing the investigation, the postmortem and all that. And now they come up with a report, saying all kinds of things. For me, where I stand as a member of parliament, a legislator, I am insisting that the unprofessionalism of the police, the negligence of the police, and their bad policing led to the death of this young man.
So I would want a clarification here. Point 7, which you referred to, says that at the meeting, the parties were giving the option to have the post-mortem examination conducted by a pathologist of their choice, but they all agreed that the police pathologist should conduct the examination.
So, and that is what I want to debunk. It is never true. It was never true. That was never the case. And the lawyer would have to come out and debunk that or say something to that effect. It was never true. They were the one that were going to do the examination or the autopsy. The family, however, the family were not comfortable to have them alone to do the examination. And so they suggested that it would be okay for them to have their own private medical pathologist or doctor to be there.
Okay. So Honorable, what are you going to do now?
What I'm going to do now is still seek for justice. I'm still asking the IGP to bring those officers that were there that day to books, because they are equally responsible. Their unprofessionalism, negligence, and their bad policing led to the death, contributed to the death of this young man.
Well, the position of the Jomoro MP there, pathologist Professor Osei Sampani, has been reacting to the development. He believes the family should have had their own medical professional present during the autopsy.
Whatever happened prior to the man's death, the doctor will record it. In fact, autopsies of this nature, but basically at all autopsies, we are encouraged to take photographs. In fact, professional, so that in fact the photographs are to be done professionally, because there are times that some of these pictures will be taken and then be spreading all over, and which of course I must admit that if one dies, his privacy is also paramount. So we make sure that the pictures are not circulated anyhow. So we usually either ask family member who can be trusted to take the photograph as the autopsy is being done. Or maybe in the case of the police, they can also take photographs, whoever is interested, but of course the pictures must be protected such that it doesn't find they don't find their way into the public domain. So I believe that, like I said, the doctor who conducted the autopsy is surely going to write full report.
Okay.
And then if there was any brutality, like the honorable member is claiming, there were any form of brutalities, any form of assault, all of them will be recorded. In fact, there's something called tissue reaction. After death, in fact, prior to death, whatever has happened to you will be shown. I mean, during autopsy or after death. So basically, there shouldn't be any cause to be worried as far as the honorable member is concerned.
Expert opinion there. I want to bring in now criminologist Dr. John Supokuware. He's a lecturer at the Department of Sociology and Social Works, Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. Thank you, sir, for your time here on The Pulse. I mean, just run us through what the standard procedure is when carrying out, for instance, an autopsy, just to ascertain the veracity of what may have led to, for instance, the death of this individual that's at stake here.
Okay, thank you very much, and very good afternoon to you and also your viewers. I mean, once the process is established in terms of a case of murder or someone, being killed. It is important that the police take over. And once the police take over, a medical form is issued, and then we require the pathologist to be able to go through the process of carrying out the investigation in terms of identifying what might have caused the death of the person. So normally, the police refer these kind of cases to their medical officers, and their medical officers are the ones that carry out these autopsy. However, there have been situations where some, let's say, disagreements have come up, like what we are experiencing currently in terms of the outcome of some of these autopsy reports. And so the families have the right to also seek a second opinion, and then they'll be able to use that to determine what actually might have been the cause of murder.
Okay, so that's the standard practice. Here you have a case, you've seen the statement, the police statement, and also heard from the relatives of Shadrach. You've heard both sides on this matter. I'm wondering who's at fault here?
Well, I don't think anybody is at fault. I mean, the police are doing their job. They think that using the standard operating procedure, they are supposed to refer the case to the medical officers for them to do their test and to determine what probably might have killed the person involved. However, the family are also raising issues and certain doubt about the process. And for me, the process and how it is carried out can raise some of these kind of doubts in the minds of the parties that are involved. And I think that based on the fact that the police seems to have rushed through the process, that is what is creating this kind of doubt for the family. And so basically, it is about the family also trying to get things right and to know what actually transpired, resulting in the death of their relative. So it is not about who is right and who is wrong. It's about making sure that the right procedures are followed, and therefore we are able to meet everybody in terms of the suspicions and being able to carry out an investigation that actually reflects the true state of affairs when it comes to the death of the gentleman.
The family has confirmed to us that they were not present when that autopsy report was published, not even present when the process was going on. Will that take away the shine, the integrity of the investigative processes?
Yes, looking at how contested the situation we have now is, I mean, ideally, it would have been great if the police have exhausted all the process, especially in getting the families involved. Some of these, the police over the years have been suffering from, integrity issues. I mean, when it comes to, trust levels, I mean, we have all Afrobarometer reports and other reports that seems to point to some kind of, mistrust by the public in the police service. So if the police is on, a mission to rebuild their integrity and to get a lot of trust from the public, it is important that such kind of, situations, they make it so accountable for everybody in terms of the parties that are involved. But where the process is shrouded in secrecy, where some people have to be rushed through a certain process, then it creates certain doubts in the minds of people. And as I was watching what one of the family members was saying, that is exactly the kind of scenario that is playing out. There is some form of doubt, and they are questioning the rashness of the process. Immediately a process is rushed, then issues of doubt will begin to arise. People will begin to ask and begin to question, what is it about the rush? Who are we trying to protect? Who are we trying to, cover up for? And already the police suffered that kind of crisis and deficit over the period based on some actions and inactions of the institution over the years. And so if we are seeking to correct such kind of impression, then I'm of the view that the police should take their time, go through all the process, involve the family members, let everybody understand that nothing is ill-intentioned, and therefore whatever process that is being undertaken is to the benefit of everybody and to be able to bring finality to the issue at hand.
A few issues that we need to just take a second look at. First of all, the police failed to narrate what the cause of arrest was in their statement. We'll look at that shortly. But how is it possible that someone dealing in narcotics is able to swallow, per what we're being told by that statement from the police, at least 8 different bags of Indian hemp? I mean, I'm just trying to wrap my head around, around that situation. Is it really possible that someone is able to do that?
Well, I mean, if you look at the crime literature and if you look at police and criminal operations over the period, I mean, so many people have been arrested across the world where people have swallowed, you know, let me say, a lot of kilos of drugs, especially cocaine, even in condoms. Okay, so people's ability to swallow drugs, and especially drugs that are wrapped, it's not something new. People can do that. Okay, but then we have to look at the scenario that played out. I mean, at what point did that incident happen? Do we have any evidence that the person was swallowing or swallowed some kind of contraband at that point in time, and then be able to establish whether truly that is the situation that happened? And now, if you look at the account of the person, I mean, based on the lady that was speaking, she is of the view that the brother didn't have any such kind of contraband. And if there are certain, CCTVs and all these things around, and I'm thinking that we should be able to look at, the videotape and then ascertain whether that really happened. But in terms of, such incidents happen, there's always a history to it, and people have over the period been able to swallow huge kilos of drugs, whether they are cocaine or marijuana. It happens. So it's not something that I will say over here, it's not a possibility. It is actually a possibility. People can do that.
Wow, that would be an amazing skill to have. 8 bags in less than a minute upon arrest. That's what the police is telling us.
Exactly, and I mean, that is where the suspicion comes. There's always the tendency for people to be able to swallow, but then you have to look at the chain of events. I mean, how can someone do that within that space of time? Because, I mean, if you look at some of the criminal arrests that have been made across the world in terms of people that have been arrested with drugs, I mean, those that have swallowed drugs into their body, you will see that they do that over a period of time. You cannot swallow drugs within that short period of time, especially looking at the number of wraps that the police claim the person might have swallowed within that short period of time. That is quite questionable. And I think that the police probably will have to come out much better and provide more evidence to that kind of thing happening if their story is to be believed.
Do you feel that the family, and let's not be fixated on the police, the family, the police service, they are all not able to tell us at this point what the cause of arrest was? They all seem to be silent on that factor.
It's quite sad, and I think that by now the police should have been able to, tell the Ghanaian public and the family what really the cause is, and that is why I'm advocating that if we have these CCTV cameras all over the place, I mean, why can't you just obtain the footage, look at what actually happened, the chain of events, and then establish the actual cause of what happened that resulted in the death of the man in question? But if the police are only giving us accounts that are very vague, that are very ambiguous, then that is where the suspicion is created. That is where people begin to now raise questions about their procedure for arrest and also their motive. And so for me, that is where we have to look at. Can the police give us much detailed information about the chain of events, what really happened, and provide us with evidence to support us so that when the public speaks or when people are complaining, we will be able to understand where to put the issues, in terms of their context and perspective. So the police must do more.
Very finally, the Inspector General of Police, this is someone who's shown over time that is very much proactive on these matters. What's your expectation from the leadership of the police service?
Well, I think that the current IGP, when it comes to issues like this, over the period have been swift, and I'm not expecting anything, different when it comes to how he's supposed to approach this one too. And now this is about the loss of lives. Okay, you don't know how much that life meant to some people. Okay, so for me, once a person is killed in such a manner, or the death of a person is occasioned in such a manner, what we have to do is to bring all the state apparatus, to be able to resolve the murder, to be able to resolve the death, so that we can bring finality to the family. And in the process, the police is also able to build, their trust levels, and people will begin to have confidence in them. Once that is not done, and then we try to, frustrate the process with some form of encumbrances, it becomes very, very difficult for the police to achieve, public trust and then gain the kind of integrity that they expect to have from the public. And for me, that is quite worrying.
Are we far from settling this case?
Well, I think that looking at the way the police is reacting to the issue in terms of that kind of cloudness, around the issue, I think that if the police are not very open and transparent, then we have a long way to go, because the family already is threatening, legal action against the police. And I think that the police wouldn't want the issue to drag that long. They should just show the family some respect, get to them, involve them in the whole process, let the issue be open, because who are they protecting? The police must understand that if there is a single individual, it's like the case of Jonah and the whale. If there's a Jonah in the ship that is causing the ship to sink, we should throw the person overboard. So if there's a certain individual within the police that through their acts gives the police service the bad name and stand in the way of the kind of integrity the police want to build in recent times, then we must bring the person out and make sure that we deal with all these kind of police people that are trigger happy and are kind of very violent in the way they carry out their activities. So for me, the police must take this as a serious case to build and to rebuild their integrity.
Well, it's interesting how in that biblical story, someone is still doing the swallowing. But we'll leave that for some time later. Dr. Opoku-Ware, thank you for your time here on The Pulse. I'm grateful. And today on The Pulse as well, don't forget that we're looking at that conversation with the former MP for Mampong, Francis Adainimo, who's also running for president. He will tell us why he's the best candidate for the NPP. We'll explore that after this break. Please stay.